Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So, I said I was going to upload a story time yesterday, and I didn't end up uploading a story time. So, I wanted to come on here and kind of share a story with you guys today. So, I know I've got a lot of new subscribers, so let me preface this and tell y'all where to find certain things. So first of all, if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. Subscribe to my channel, share these videos with other people that you know that are struggling with active addiction or people that are in recovery. I facilitate every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I facilitate a medically assisted recovery anonymous meeting. If you're looking for medically assisted recovery anonymous meetings in your area, you can find those at marainternational.org. All you have to do is search by your state, and it'll let you know if there is a meeting in person where you live. If not, you can come. You can slide down the list to web-based meetings, and it'll bring you back here to my channel. Or I don't know if they've added any other meetings that are web-based, but I know that they got ours is on the list now, so that way people can find it if they need it. So let me just tell you guys, I'm folding laundry, and while I'm folding laundry, I thought I could tell you guys a story time. So first of all, if any of you guys are wondering like how I got into addiction, like what my whole story is, there is a playlist on my channel that is my addiction story. The whole thing, it's a 4-part series, an hour each part, so it's 4 hours long. But it's me telling my whole, basically what it was like before, what it was like during my addiction, and what it's like now. So you can find that under my on my channel under the playlist addiction story. Okay. So I know a lot of you guys are like really interested in hearing like what my experiences were like in prison. And so I guess I'm going to share with you guys some stories from prison. Now, I didn't have a really bad experience when I went to prison. My time there was short. I was a short timer, so no matter what, I was getting out on my TE date, okay? So my charges were possession of a controlled substance, okay? And then I had some other misdemeanor charges that were tacked on with that. So when I went to prison, it was 2009. I got locked up in November of 2009. Yeah, right before Christmas time. I can remember the day that I went to court and got sentenced. I drove my car. I had a blue Ford Focus, navy blue. That car, I'm telling you what, you guys, I drove that car until the wheels fell off. I ended up selling it for $3,000, gave my parents $2,000, and spent $1,000 on Roxy's and Xanax. And that night I overdosed and ended up in the hospital from that overdose. So yeah, I sold my car and got drug money for it. But anyway, that's not the story we're at. I'm telling you guys about, what it was like. First, we'll talk about what it was like when I was in county jail. So for me, when I got locked up in county, this is the first time I'd ever been locked up, except when I got caught with methamphetamine. And when I got caught with methamphetamine, I didn't even dress out. I think I was there for 30 minutes, and me and my friend bailed out together. But when I got sentenced to my year, I went to county, and when you first get there, they have you strip. And I got naked. They had me squat and cough a couple times. And they just do that because a lot of girls will sneak drugs in or sneak anything, any kind of contraband in inside of them or under their clothes. So they have to have you strip search. Then they make you take a shower, a lice shower, and then you go back to the general population. Now listen, when you're in county, in Garland County, the way it is it's a huge open like day room, okay? And you walk in, and then there's cells all across the wall, and then you have an open area right here where there's 2 showers, and then you have toilets in every cell, okay? But the doors do shut, and it's a whole door, and it has a little slot in it that they can slide your tray through. Man, I had never been to jail before. So when I remember when they put me down there, first of all, a lot of people knew my sister because my sister Michelle has been to jail so many times. Uh, so many times. And one day I'll let her come on here and share those stories with you. But a lot of the times, the reason my sister would go to jail is because she would show up at her ex-boyfriend's houses or boyfriends and try to fight their asses and get the cops called on her. Or she would get a public intoxication. So it was just something that everybody knew her in jail. So when I got there, we look exactly alike. So they were all like, DeMayo. And I'm like, what's up? I'm not Michelle, I'm Nicole. But they knew who I was, you know? So when we got down there, okay, so this is the funniest thing. And I think I've told this story before on my channel. But okay, the cell to the far left was like a communal cell where we would all meet and we would eat commissary together on the weekends. We would watch, because we had a TV that was up on the corner wall. We would watch Jerry Springer. We would watch Maury. I mean, it was like a, it was crazy. And for real, if you go into jail or prison and you're a woman, if you just stay to yourself and respect other people, you're not going to have a problem. I never had any problems, any. Now, I did see one girl get her head smashed on the toilet in county jail, but that's because her and this girl got into an argument. The other girl told her to get in the cell with her. They got in the cell and everybody shut the door from the outside, and the big black girl beat her up. You know, so she went in there with her. Now, if it was me and somebody was trying to get me to cell up with them, I would have been like, fuck no, I ain't going in there with you. We can do it right here. You know, that's just me though. Anyway, when you put yourself in that position where people can shut you in like that, you're not getting out when you want to get out. So if somebody's really hurting you and you're like ready to tap out, then you can't get out, you know? So I've seen that happen. I've also seen, that this was probably one of the scariest things I've ever seen. After being there for about 2 weeks, because I was in county for 60 days. After being there for about 2 weeks, a girl came in and she was going through alcohol withdrawal. She was a bad alcoholic. She was about 70 pounds, you guys, dripping wet. This girl was skinny. And she was going through DTs, okay? Delirium tremens. And she was in the cell beside me, but we would like sit together and I was trying to help her and I was trying to let the guards know like she needs medical attention, you know? Well, that night she went into hallucinations and she stopped up her toilet and her sinks and she started flooding the cell. So I was banging on the door to have the guards come down. When the guards came down, they opened up her cell door and she was butt naked, standing up, grabbing at her private area, trying to pull rats out of her vagina. She thought there were rats in her vagina. Okay, so she's pulling them out and throwing them on the ground. Then she started screaming that there was ducks floating everywhere. And it was because she was going through DTs and she was seeing this shit. Like she really thought it was there. And the only reason I know that that's what was happening is because after I did my time in prison and I got out, I've hallucinated just like that, and seen shit that wasn't there that I truly thought was there, like it was there. So they took her to the emergency room and she never came back. I never seen her again. So I did my 60 days in there, and I remember the morning they came to get me, it was cold outside. It was like January, okay? And they came down there to get me. And they said, DeMayo, come on, it's time for you to go. And so they were going to transport me to the prison that I was going to, which is called RPF in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. In fact, I think my ADC number is ADC 754-077, 754-077, Arkansas Department of Corrections. Isn't that crazy that I can remember that? Anyway, they drove me down to Pine Bluff and I walked in and they had orientation. Well, not orientation, but you go in a room and they are like, you sit down and they ask you what your name is, you know, birthday, all that stuff. They know this information, but they're just, I guess, verifying it with you. And then you have to go and get dressed out. So what they do is they take you again, squat and cough, delouse you, and then put you in your uniform. And the uniforms we had to wear there were like this light yellow colored scrubs with white t-shirts underneath and white sports bras and these Bob Barker white canvas shoes. Cheap as fuck. I walked so many miles in those shoes that there was holes in the bottoms of them. And the only way you could get new shoes is if you ordered them off commissary. I think that was like $10 or something. So I had to wait until I had money on my books each time to be able to get new stuff like that. Well, the first time I was dressed out and put in the shower, I remember I was standing in between these two black girls, okay? Two big old giant black girls. In fact, me and this girl are friends to this day. I'm not going to say her name, but I was so scared because I was like probably 120 pounds and had these big old black girls on the other side of me, and we were all three naked and they were spraying us with this stuff. And I was just like, that's when it hit me, like, you cannot leave. You can't call your mom when you want. You can't have somebody pick you up. You can't get high tonight. You cannot leave. This is your reality. Well, when you first get there, after they delouse you, they put you in the hole for 3 days to make sure that you don't have any infectious diseases, hepatitis, tuberculosis, HIV, all that kind of stuff. And so I was in the hole for 3 days with this girl named Nikki. Now, Nikki, I will never forget her because her story was, she was from Clinton, Arkansas, and she was high as hell on methamphetamine and drove her car through a church building, through the church. So I will never forget that. We laughed so hard for like days on that shit. But we were in there for 3 days together. And then when you get out, they send you to your compound, which the first compound was like the orientation compound. And you spend 30 days there. Once you learn all the ropes and learn all the rules,